If you read a typical product manager job description, the role sounds very polished. Define a vision, own the roadmap, drive strategy, work across functionality, deliver impact, all the things you would expect. All sounds important, all sounds structured, and most of all sounds very clear. And to be fair, none of it's wrong. None of it's like absolutely out of the ordinary. Uh, but it's also, it doesn't quite capture what the role actually feels like day to day. So let's walk through a day in the life of a PM. Let's walk through a day in the life of a product manager. The day starts before it really starts. You're not fully awake yet, but you've already checked whatever Teams or Slack that you have. Hey, quick question. What should happen if a user skips this step? You stare at the message for a second. It feels small, but it never is. You open a design, and there are three possible answers. All of them make sense. All of them will break something else. You type an answer or start to, then delete, then type again. What's the user trying to do here? It sounds thoughtful. Translation equals, I need 5 more minutes to think about this. That's something I've learned about product work. The real job often begins one layer below the question that's being asked. By the time I'm fully into the day, there are already a few threads running in parallel. A design that needs clarity. An engineering team has uncovered a constraint that we need to address. A metric has moved in a way that no one fully expected and people want answers, or a calendar full of meetings that you vaguely remember accepting if you did at all. And that's where the work gets interesting. One of the biggest differences between the job description and reality is that PM work is rarely very linear. It's not a linear thing. You're constantly moving between levels from detail to direction, from roadmap to edge case, from business goal to user friction. A lot of your day is spent translating what leadership wants into something accountable, what engineering's worried about into a product decision, and what users are struggling with into a clear problem statement. The meetings begin. Engineering says this will take way longer than expected. Design says if we simplify it, the experience gets worse. Someone else says, can we still launch that this week? Someone else says, what's for lunch today? And everyone looks at you. You look at your screen, there's no correct answer. So what does the PM do best? You translate. Well, if we scope it down, we can hit the timeline, but we might impact onboarding quality. What matters more right now? Also, it's Taco Tuesday. What else will we have for lunch? Congratulations, you just turned confusion into a slightly more structured confusion. The job isn't always about having answers. It's about making the questions better. There are also moments in a day that are way more analytical. A message comes in. Can you take a look at this metric? It dropped after the release. So now I'm digging into dashboards, asking what's changed, whether it's a tracking issue, a real behavioral shift, or just noise. It's not always glamorous, but it does matter. Because every decision depends on how well we understand the last one. By the end of the day, nothing you did feels dramatic. You didn't code a feature, you didn't design a screen, you didn't close 10 visible tasks. But the product is slightly better off than it was this morning. The team is slightly more aligned, the direction is slightly more clear. And sometimes that is the job of the PM. So that's probably the biggest difference in the job description from the real job. The job description makes product managers' work sound like one of the ownership and direction, and the reality feels more like navigation to completion. You're constantly working through uncertainty, helping people align, and making small decisions that help keep the product team moving and a regular team moving in the right direction always. But it's not always neat, and it's not always visible. But in the end, the part we love about our job is that it's always meaningful. And maybe that's what makes it such an interesting job. That's going to do it for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. Bye now.